For all its bells and whistles, Xcode has never had the type of automated refactoring that has been in other IDEs for decades now. So, what if we use agentic AI as our refactoring tool? That's what I explore in this recording of a live coding session. Buckle in, this one is fun. Welcome to another edition of the Quality Coding live stream. And Mudshark is here. That's good enough. I have everybody. Well, I miss all the other people, but I'm good to go with just you. And you, gentle viewer watching after the fact. Welcome, whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube. Hey, train your system, click various buttons to get more of this as it comes. Welcome. My name is John Reed. I am a technical coach and an iOS developer, and we are doing test-driven development in SwiftUI, learning how that works. Live mistakes, live fun. Last time, what did we do? Oh, well, I had a week off, or two? A week off, I think. I don't remember anymore, but yeah, I'm a proud grandfather of a second grandchild, so my time off was good. Bill is here. Yo! Always good to have you. Let's figure out what's going on. Thank you, Bill. What did we do last time? Ha ha ha. John Irving is in the house. All right. Welcome. Last time, we had trouble renaming things until we added a temporary initializer. So this isn't a struct where there is an implicit initializer. If you don't define one, that's like, give me all the properties. And hey, first time chatter. M. Columns, welcome. Good to have you. Don't know if you've been around before and been lurking, but hey, this is the party. So we learned that we couldn't just rename a property. It's not an implicit property. We couldn't just rename a property and have it work, have the automated rename work. We had to add an initializer, then do the rename, and that worked okay. So that was an interesting thing to learn. Learned that I feel like maybe, I don't know if we've had this before, but I think this is new, that we can't take a state and make it into a computed property. It's got to be real because there's machinery underneath that the at state does implicitly. So that was interesting. We had a discussion about what's the deal with mocks? That the typical TDD journey is to go from no mocks to overdoing mocks to getting just enough mocks, which I forget who it was came up with this delicious term, Goldilocks, for just the right amount. And I love it. What are we doing? We are working on Mastermind and trying to support multiple rounds and in the middle of a refactoring where we are trying to move the feedback pegs. And I was puzzling through, how do we move the pegs? So the feedback pegs right now are on the game screen. How do we move them? They really belong inside each round. Oh, actually, I already have this as a destination, but it's not used. So how do we do that? And Mr. Bill Wake said, do it in 2 steps. First, move it up to the game and then down into the rounds. Down into, yeah. So I'm feeling inspired by an experience I had. Was it on Friday? Yeah, at work. I was asked to change some code, but because it was code I had written, I knew I had TDD'd the thing, and so I was totally confident with the tests on it. So I asked an agentic AI system to make the change, and it took several tries as it goes and it says, okay, it's good. And it's like, no, it doesn't compile. Oh, I see. And okay, it's good. Yeah, it still doesn't compile. Okay, now it's good. Okay, now the tests are crashing. Okay, it's good. Okay, fewer tests. No, there are no crashes. We're still getting some test failures and so on. And eventually it got it. What was interesting about that to me was that I started to worry, should I narrow its scope? But it's making the same repeated changes across multiple types. And I thought it would save me time, and it did. So what if we hop over to Cursor? Could just as well be any other thing. Visual Studio VS Code is a fine thing. Oh, new update. Not now. So what if, and I stole Kent Beck's rules, how he describes to whatever genie, as he calls them, he's using, the steps, the principles that he wants his genies to obey. And in particular, separate structural changes from behavioral changes. Structural changes meaning refactoring, behavior changes meaning feature or bug fix, right? So what if I can go to, let's see if this was in game screen. Am I in the wrong place? What? Okay, sorry. I'm thrown off. It's the same old thing. It's just not as pretty. And so it's okay. Okay. Domain, no. UI. There's game screen. Let's ask, do you know the pull up field refactoring? Let's ask it. Let's prime its pump. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And oh, there's another trick I want to do. I haven't tried it yet. And this is something that Llewellyn Falco, I think, discovered. let's say I want you to, no, that's too messy. Follow the rules come on, why can't I? I'm trying and failing. I forget how to, I thought it was this because it shows the various rules in place. Okay, I'm struggling. Anyone use cursor? Let's see if it figures it out. As you do, prepend, start every response to me with the character let's look for a character. This is my cheat for TDD. It's red, green, yellow. Let's see, is it this way in Japan? And it's this way in the States? I'll choose the US one. Whoops. Red, oh! Red, green, gold. Nice. So the traffic symbol will, let's see if it does this. Now, here's the interesting thing. You see it is adding this special character that I told it to use, except that it can't find the rules for some reason. The important thing about this character that the user requests that the assistant follow, yes, is that if at some point we go beyond its context window, is that what it's called? Basically, it can't keep track of everything in the conversation, and it forgets this. As soon as I see a response that doesn't have that character in it, I know we have blown past its memory and it needs some more help. Why can't I thought this was easy. There. Found them. Now, do pull up field of, I'm going to come back here, game screen of feedback pegs from game screen to game. Actually, before we do this, I want it to run the tests. Yeah. I don't know. So it looked like it was easy to attach the rule by looking for it in here. Where was it? Yeah. I'm not sure why this didn't work. Whoop. Come back, rule. Found them. Start by running tests, which are in here. Will it succeed? In it may or may not succeed because it's got its own shell and it may not have the right variables, but let's see what it does. Okay, Xebeautify is not there. Hold on. Let's tell it. Add this to your shell path. Okay, now let's see. There we go. Okay, all tests are passing. We have a solid baseline. It's looking for candidates. I don't want you to. I don't want you to do that. Pull up from game screen to game. Run tests to confirm. Here's the mystery. What will it do? I don't know. Because here we go. Let's see how it does. The interesting thing is, so I happened to watch one of my old videos, and back, okay, I'm gonna say the A word. Back in the day, I used Xcode for everything, and it was even better because it was in Objective-C, where the automated refactoring was strong. Things got better in Swift, but they were never as good as they were for Objective-C, and you could just do pull up. There was no need for anything. Whereas in Xcode, where is pull up? It ain't there. It's never been there. It has never, ever been there. Super frustrating. So what I'm wondering, and what this experiment is sort of evolving into, is can we, by giving it clear rules and referring to specific refactoring moves by name, will it do it for us? And this will be especially interesting since this is a state. You know, John, I feel like I'm seeing more people, and maybe it's just the extreme programmer bias, but I'm seeing more people say XP is back because of AI. That in order to move in small, safe, verified steps, putting safe, good boundaries on AI instead of letting it run amok, and to be in the driver's seat, we can use extreme programming. So let's see. You know, these instructions are pretty clear. What will it do? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if I can collapse this at all. Come on. Here we go. Boom. Things are going by fast. Wait. Why is it writing a test? Why is it writing a test? Oh, yeah, Bill, you nailed it. This kind of thing. Why is it writing a test? It might be correct, but I want to check it because everything is fully tested. So let's review what it did. And this is part of the problem is it's going to make stuff up and we need to keep an eye on it. I can see that feedback pegs is currently managed in GameScreen as a state variable. Let me first write a test to define the expected variable, expected behavior. Why? I don't see why. We don't, does it know it's refactoring? We are doing, oh yeah. I bet it's trying, it thinks I need to write a test. I bet you guys are right. This is fully tested. I don't think we need a new test. Can this be straight refactoring? Already interesting. You're absolutely right. It's so affirming. What test was it trying to write? Yes. I mean, look at the name of this test that it was trying to write. Has feedback pegs field. Ooh. Assert that. I mean, it's not a horrible test. But this is a temporary thing. We just want it to go through. Okay, let's see what it did. You're absolutely right. Since this is a pure refactoring, we don't need a new test. The existing tests already verify. This is a structural change following the tidy first approach. Hey, it figured that out. Let me proceed with the following. Move, yes. Update references, change game screen to use game feedback pegs instead of its own state. Good. Let me start by adding the feedback pegs field to game. Okay. Now I need to update the feedback pegs for a guess method to update the field instead of just returning the value. So that's in the game itself. I don't get this at all. It used to be a one-liner that would call secret evaluate the current guess and give me the pegs for that. And instead it's doing the exact same thing because of the implicit return. Now I need to update game screen to remove. Yeah, that's now, okay. What will it do? Testing succeeded. What did it do? Let's start from game screen. Okay, various things go away. This seems good. Obviously, with it gone, we don't initialize it. And wherever we're referring to it, we should be able to say game feedback pegs like that. What? Oh, this is not good. This doesn't seem right. This is the action to update the feedback pegs from. It's hard to see. I made the font ginormous to make this easier for you folks to read. It's actually a little hard to see. What if I bring up this instead? This is side by side. I'm not sure. Let's take a look in here. Okay, so this is questionable. This is the check button. Okay. This might be funny, but I think we should come back to it. I think this is not bad in that it was returning the feedback pegs, and now it doesn't need, the game is keeping track of it, so it doesn't need to store it somewhere. So let's mark this as something to clean up. And that looks like it does it. Then in the game side, there's feedback pegs as expected. And what did it change in the tests? Oh, it's got this bogus thing here. All right, this is a little messy. But that might partly be because I wish you could update this. Maybe if I change this font size. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. Maybe if I change this font size to something smaller. That's a little better. I'm just trying to balance it so that you can see both the code and the commentary. Okay, so the tests. This is a lot of work, I feel like, but that's okay. We're here to learn. So this reject that, accept all the others. Accept and accept. One thing that I remember early on in Mastermind when I was trying to do a little bit of trying to use cursor for some things, is because it wants to show, and I think this is true of VS Code. Well, cursor is VS Code with extra stuff. It's trying to keep track of, have you accepted this change or not? Assuming that it's making the same assumption that Xcode is, that you're using it and nothing else. And so if I just go through and like commit stuff, it doesn't know if, have you accepted those changes or not? And things got confused. Pretty sure we have that way back in an early oh well, somewhere. So with that, I feel good enough to commit it. This is definitely a medium risk. Thank you much, Shark. Mudshark doesn't quite trust things because we have run. We've gone down the wrong course before. Here we go. Green, green. Brown, brown. Good. Okay. So it works. Cleanup. This. Where did do this? Feedback pegs for guests. This is not necessary anymore. Or rather, oh, that's why it's returning it. I thought this was that it was just doing that, and that's not true. It is simply updating the feedback pegs. So let's change this and can I do this in one shot? How bold do I feel to say no longer needs to return a value. Change it and rename it to update feedback pegs for guests. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. I'm gonna give it free run. Maybe not. One thing that's nice about having a run tests script, we set, yeah, I think there is just the one caller, but let's confirm that. We set up the script to make it easier for to set up GitHub Actions, because while it's all wonderful to run tests locally, I wanted a way when setting up GitHub Actions to be able to do as much of that, check it locally before pushing it up to the build servers. And so the script for that, run tests, is calling Xcode build test. Now, shoot, I'm spacing the name of the guy who founded Test Double. He's just starting iOS development and wrote about how Xcode build test is slow. It is. Compared to running Command U inside of Justin, thank you. Inside of Xcode itself, for some reason, calling Xcode build test from the command line is slower. But so on Friday at work, when it was doing this refactoring for me, I still wanted to run the tests, and because it's a big system and I wanted to run as just a specific suite. There's probably a way to tell it to run just one suite. I wanted to be in control of that, but if possible, it is definitely nicer to have the agentic AI run the tests so that you don't have to do what I did, which was copy syntax errors and paste them in, copy test errors and paste them in, and do that repeatedly. So having it do it all on its own, much nicer. Let's check the callers. I think it's just the one place. Good. And now check button. Look at this. This is the check button, that is check your guess. Has an action of to tell the game to update the feedback pigs. I like it. So we can commit that. The tests pass, so I see no need to do that. Good enough. Oh, but one thing I'm not getting by doing this locally and is the automatic push. The automatic push happens if I command U. Okay. Now, this is interesting. It's fun. Wow, it's 9:40 already. But there's one more step. Let's go back to our tree. So this is done. Now we can do that. And in fact, we already have the pegs in round. Let's see how it does. Right, so inside of game, we now have feedback pegs sitting here. We want this to be inside of a particular round. Let's see how it does. Next, I want to do push down field from of feedback pegs from game to round. How's it going to? Yeah. The destination already exists. So do the rest. Oh, I perfect. Oh, okay. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you're saying. Remove feedback pegs from game. Update game to use to access feedback pegs through the current round. Good. Probably. Since we only have one round. Update game screen to use to update feedback pegs for a guess to work with the round's feedback pegs. Let me start by removing the field from game. Now I need to update game screen. And we're getting now a bit of of Demeter violation there. In fact, maybe I want to note that right now. Don't need this bookmark anymore. But in game screen, this is messy going back and forth between IDEs. And maybe I need to graduate away from Xcode. Just wanted to note that. And I thought there was a way to there. Okay, back to cursor. My gosh. I'm with Bill. I wish we could just do all this stuff deterministically, using a capable IDE, but this is the experiment. Now I need to remove the test that was checking for feedback. I think it got confused about that. That was the test that we didn't want. See, the test was already removed. Let me run the tests. All tests are passing. I'm going to follow Mudshark's suspicion. I don't like having to do manual checking all the time. I feel like maybe we need to back off from that. But it looks like it worked. Let's see what changed. Then everything. Stuff went away. Feedback pegs is sitting here. It is raw and exposed. That's something to look at. But, you know what? It worked, and that's something to celebrate. That is something to celebrate. Let's do some cleanup. Then, this is messy. It's saying evaluate the current guess and shove that into current guess, which means the guess should take care of this. The guess should evaluate itself. Let's have it do that. I'm going to I'm just going to mark this as cleanup. Like that. I can make that more explicit if we need to. Okay. So in game, now has feature envy. Move its functionality into into round. How's it doing? It is first adding the updated thing in round, but that is the destination method. Now it's calling the right thing, and I guess I told it to run the tests. I wasn't so sure about that. I wanted to be in control, but it's okay. It's okay. And it seems to have worked. Except I don't think this is in the right place, but that's good enough. So essentially we did a move method. I wonder, can it commit for us? I have some commit rules. I have a rule about commit messages. I set up Arlo's commit notation here. Let's see if it can do it for us. Rename to score. That is a much better name. Let's see if this will do it for us. Review the commit message with me before you proceed. Well, that's a lot. And it completely ignored my, those are the wrong rules. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Sorry, follow. That's a nice rule. I said cursor rules. It did it. Proceed. There's an aspect of this that feels, as Bill said, like it takes longer. But I have to remind myself that one of the goal of any learning process is to learn. And I'm here to learn, to try this, to experiment. And And so it's natural for things to be clumsy and slow. Things could potentially get faster as we go, as I get used to using this, maybe use Xcode less. And as it gets more context, note that it is still replying with the thing we told it to use, the emoji, that clue that it has not lost its context window. It's not filled it up and forgotten what I want. It came up with a nice commit message and pushed. How much of this could just be faster? Well, if we had a decent IDE, a lot faster. But this is the experiment. Let's see, rename. I don't want it to rename. Let's not be silly. That should just fly through. This is an automated rename, so it'll be low risk. So it's a period. And that's committed and pushed. Wow. What else? How are we on law of Demeter violation? This is okay for now, because we are trying to get correct guess is the wrong thing. This should be like guess number 1. Maybe that's what we need to fix up. Any place that uses current guess is probably suspect. But all in all, line 43. Line 43 of where? Let me go back a second. Current guess, yeah. Score. Oh, update feedback pegs. You mean rename that too? Yes. And why is that important? Because then it's less fiddly and more domainy, right? Nice. I think it would be interesting, maybe next time, to for me to try to avoid using Xcode. All this bouncing around is clumsy and awkward. And there are some things I'm doing just because it's familiar, like, where are the callers? Well, there's the caller. How good would cursor be at that? I don't know. And do I call the LLM? No, I think that it might get things right, but it's making crap up. That is what it does. But it did the job. Let's continue cleanup next time by looking at current Looking at current guests. Wow. Fun stuff. Oh, wait. Back. Retro. Observations. Give them to me. The first one is yeah. It's it's slower than I want to give it some grace that feels slow, but I'm awkward. Yeah. Rename to simpler domain ideas, not fiddly. That's good enough. What else did we do? What else did we learn? Bouncing between IDEs is awkward. There is a cost. Ooh, oh, gee. Okay, let's make this bigger. This is a fascinating session. This had to tell it we were refactoring, not so didn't need a new test. However, it did Kent's rules, once it figured it out, Kent's rules did seem to help it. Or at least I don't know that. That's me saying, it said, oh yes, we're doing tidy first. Well, yes, that's because that's what I told it to do. Wow. Okay. Anything else? Man, this was interesting. Well, you're right. Oh, but that reminds me, we've got you're exactly right. So this is Llewellyn's trick. Does it still remember the things that we told it by asking for that emoji in responses? And it was still, this is just a quick hour. So we haven't overrun anything. Very small. But at some point, if we continued this, coding like this all day, multiple days, if we saw the traffic symbol the traffic lights disappear, then we would know it's lost its mind. It's not going to remember the stuff we've told it. Need to refresh it. Cursor is pretty nice about having rules. I'm just not certain how to invoke them, but having them up here seems to have worked. Okay, this is more stuff. Cursor rule files. And I'm glad I went ahead and did this myself. I went and searching for I saw somebody post something about this and it was interesting. He has a video. I wish I could refer you to what it was, but I don't remember. But it was put the rule file somewhere in the path. They belong here in cursor rules with this MDC extension. As soon as they are MDC, whatever that stands for, then it knows. It adds this bit of meta information about when to apply it. And there are, you can see I've got rules about the stack. Most of this it generated itself. I don't know how many of these will be necessary and important. This is a meta one about making new rules, but this was useful. And Kent's rules seem to be useful. So, thumbs up. Thank you for watching, folks. This was fascinating. Hey, and for folks who are watching after the fact on either Twitch or on YouTube, like I said, subscribe, whatever it is on your platform, do the things so that you get more of these. Thank you for especially to folks who joined in live. Participating always good. That it's the quasi, not quite mobbing, you know, because I'm the hog. I am the runaway driver, but I love your input and questions and comments. So good. All right, then that is it. I will see you next week. Take care until then, and yeah, don't lose your mind with the news. Take a news break if you need to for your own sanity. I had to, just so that I don't go crazy. All right, have a great week. See you next time.